What's going on, man?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, for those listening, thank you for listening and watching on the video. But I have a very good friend of mine. We go way back, and I will let him introduce himself. We tried to do a podcast before. It was my fault. Technical difficulties. It was a very ambitious to try and do it over the phone, and then they had phone problems.
Right.
But now, when you hit me up that you're in town, I was like, oh, now we can do it properly.
For sure.
So can you let the audience know who you are, and you feel free to plug your website and your videos? And,
Sure.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ryan, for having me here. My name is Jeremy Rojas, a.k.a. Jeremy Tri. I'm a full-time software engineer, but I have a huge passion for triathlon. So I got into triathlon about 2013, so approaching on 6 years now. And I just love the sport. Done a bunch, maybe, about 20 triathlons now. And I've realized that I've become very passionate about encouraging others to get into the sport. So beginner triathletes, those who kind of, heard about what it is and are kind of hesitant to join it because they don't really know what it entails. So the mission of my podcast, The Triathlete Beat, and my YouTube channel, Jeremy Tri, is to encourage others to get into the sport.
Nice. So how long have you been doing triathlons now so far?
So 2013, when I was at UF, my last semester of college,
Okay.
My buddy Aldrin, we came up with the idea to do a triathlon. So for I think that was in about January or February, and the triathlon was in April of that year.
What kind of triathlon was it?
It was a sprint triathlon, so it was a quarter-mile swim, a 14-mile bike ride, and a 5K at the end.
So it's fair to say that's like a good beginner triathlon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, sprint distance or super sprint distances, which are the mini version of sprint distance, is definitely the way to get into the sport because a lot of them also have pool swims. So, my first try was in a pool where you just kind of snake through the lanes. And it's very, you could hang on to the wall if you get tired, which I did. Every 50 meters, I would hang on to the wall.
I'd be sinking at the bottom. I'd be like, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah, so that was 2013, so this is going to my 6th year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I want to rewind back a little bit. So for the listeners and watchers out there, I know Jeremy from college. We went to the amazing University of Florida. Go Gators. And I remember first meeting you, and I think the one thing that we got along well together was that we were both runners.
Yep.
In high school.
Yep.
And I always joked you
cross
were
country.
Likely faster than me, and he was. So, but we were both cross country runners.
Yep.
But I'm finding that for those that go into triathlons, if you've never had a history before, but if you did have a history, it oftentimes is from running. Some swimmers, but runners.
Yeah.
It's almost as if running suddenly got boring, and now we want to add 2 more sports to it.
Yeah, I think in general, the high school sport, more so it's running or cross country. Less people. I don't even think there's cycling as a sport in high school.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Swimming, definitely there's swimming, but definitely running is very prevalent in high school. And for me, when I was in college, when that first idea of doing a triathlon came on, I wasn't really running a lot. I was playing a lot of basketball, which is another way we kind of bonded early on. Was through basketball.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, I play basketball 2 to 3 times a week, so my cardio is pretty good. And I have that cross-country background. So that really helped in giving me the idea that, okay, well, I can bike. I had a single-speed road bike that I would commute to and from campus. So I was like, all right, well, I just have to learn how to swim now. Yeah. So I would just hit the pool 2 or 3 times a week. Did a lot of research on good swim form, and then we made it happen.
So out of all the 3, I would agree cycling is cycling, right? We've all ridden a bike. I think competitively the nuances for triathlons are there. But swimming, I remember when I tried, I think around my second year PT school, as if I didn't have enough to do already to try and train. Swimming was the worst. I hated it. How did you approach swimming? Were you oh, this is not that bad, or were you this is just as painful? Yeah,
it was pretty bad at first. So my friends actually would swim regularly at the O-Dome, the pool on campus. They'd always try to get me to go. They'd be like, I don't want to go. I mean, I took lessons when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But after that, I never really swam. So I would even be hesitant to go to like pool parties or like the beach just because I didn't really
Get out of here.
No,
Wait,
seriously.
you're from South Florida. Like,
I
what?
know, but I would go to the beach, but I wouldn't really, I'd
Yeah,
have
that's
to
true.
feel my feet like
Got it.
on the
Okay,
ground.
Okay.
So I didn't want to be that person at the pool.
You're like that guy sitting at the edge, just hanging
That was
out.
at the
You're like-
edge or swim like, because it's 25 meters one way.
Yeah.
Swim and then just be like thrashing around. Because when you look at people swimming laps, they're just like
It's effortless. They're
effortless,
flowing.
just like swimming. So I didn't want to be that guy, but eventually I made my way to the pool. I was that person. I would swim and thrash my way to 25 meters to one side of the pool, catch my breath, do it again, but I figured, okay, well, I got to do this the right way. I got to learn good form. So I just I guess really important things when first starting out to learn swimming is like a pull buoy to put between your legs and isolate just
That makes
training
sense.
with your upper body.
Yeah.
So use a pull buoy to learn, upper body, good swim form, hand entry, and pulling. And then you have the kickboard, which you can, use to learn your kick. So do that, separate the motions and bring them together and do that over enough time. Then I got barely good enough to do a triathlon. My swim form, even to now, isn't perfect, but, doing those things helped enough to get started.
I would assume that when, as like a beginner to intermediate triathlon, there's always at least one sport that you still have to shore up, right? Like, so is swimming still the one that you're like, I still gotta fix?
Definitely.
Okay.
It's just such a highly technical sport. Like, there's so much that goes into it. The way your hand goes into the water, the way it pulls, the angle at which your arm bends, the propulsion of your feet when you're kicking, and bringing all those together. It's like running is technical too, but we're kind of naturally, from when we were kids.
True. Yeah.
We can run. Biking is, if you if you didn't learn to bike when you were a kid, it's hard to learn it now too. But biking is, once you get the hang of it, you just pedal.
Yeah, you're just pedaling. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah. So
Don't crash.
swimming, what I would do, I'd actually also go into the pool and bring the GoPro and swim.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
nice.
film myself to analyze my technique.
Nice.
I would compare it to other videos on YouTube, and then go back and forth and do that. I hadn't done that on YouTube for everything, right?
Yeah.
I did that. I don't know, a few years ago. I actually did it recently, about 2 weeks ago. And my form, I was like, "Whoa, is that how I look like?"
You're like splashing. It's just all splash, and you're like, "Damn!"
Like my lines and
Thought I
I
looked
was
good.
crossed. I was like, "Okay, well, I really need to reassess my swim."
Did you hire a coach at all or anything? Or?
I don't have a coach. No, I would do. There's MrSwimSmooth.com who has a lot of
Shout out to you.
SwimSmooth.com. Yeah, there's a lot of really great graphics for optimal swim form. Mixed with a lot of different YouTube videos on Olympians and their techniques and stuff. But I definitely, which is something that I really need to do, is to reach out to other friends who are I have friends who swim in college.
True.
Reach out to them. I actually know this coach on Instagram who hit me up.
Nice.
If I ever need tips.
Yo.
So I need to reach out to these, others, professionals or people who know a bit more about swimming and improve, because I actually really feel like I've hit a plateau with swimming, because the first 2 or 3 years was all
the learning curve, and then you're like,
Learning
boom,
curve.
I got it, and now you're
got it.
fine tuning.
went from 400 meters to 1.2 mile swim in the half iron and 1.5 mile swim in Alcatraz, and then it's all right, well, my times are kind of plateauing right now,
Yeah.
so I need to fix this.
So I know, again, going from my one training experience was the brick workouts.
Yeah, bricks.
So let's talk about how did you handle your first brick workouts, and how are you handling them now?
Okay, I actually do remember my very first brick workout.
Which one? Which one was it? From
Bike to Run.
Bike to Run.
Yeah.
Rough.
For that first triathlon in college, I biked in the gym, in the Southwest gym in UF.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just went outside and ran around the gym. It was that was it. Which is kind of the whole concept of it.
It is, yeah.
You want to get your legs used to, all right, I just finished this bike workout. My quads and whatever are just burning.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to run. And because that's what you do in the triathlon is after you bike, you run, and you want to get your legs used to running off the bike. So it was painful. They feel really heavy at first.
Yeah.
But I mean, after half a mile, or maybe like half a mile,
Yeah.
your legs get used to it.
Yeah, that is, I think, the interesting part. That transition, your body's like, whoa, what the hell? I was just non-weight bearing on a bike. That's like the PT brain. And now I'm having to put forces through my legs. It's like, what
It's
the
like
heck?
a brick. It's like you feel like you're...
Absolutely. But then, yeah, you're right. Like the second wind kicks in, and then you're like, all right, let's continue.
Yeah. Definitely, I need to do those a lot more than I do right now.
So then what's an easier brick workout? Is it swim to cycle or cycle to run for you?
I don't really do swim to cycle.
Is that a thing? Like, mind my ignorance. Is that a brick workout that you would have to do?
I don't really read about it that much.
Okay.
It could be, and I'm missing out. More of it is like what you do in the transition. So like after you get off the swim, like what do you do now for the bike? Like for me, I guess the more advanced or the more experienced triathletes will already have their bike shoes attached to the clips of the
pictures
bike.
I've seen. Yes.
So you don't have to like sit down in transition and like slip on your shoes. So that saves a few seconds.
Isn't there something like a tri-suit too? You wouldn't have to change?
Yep. So that's another really good thing if you go from beginner triathlete to more, a little more intermediate, is wearing one piece of clothing like a tri-suit for the whole race. During my first triathlon, I swam in tri shorts. On the bike, I put on shorts and I put on shoes, and then I used that same outfit to do the run.
True.
But now you just swim in your tri-suit. You get off. I don't even dry off because you dry off.
Yeah, why bother? Yeah, you're going to dry off on the cycle.
Get off the bike, and then that's when you change into your running shoes.
While you're on the bike?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. After the bike.
After the bike.
Got it. Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, if you have bike shoes, because not everyone will have bike shoes.
So you're clipped in.
Clipped in.
Got it.
Clipped in, get off the bike, put on the running shoes, and you're off for the run, all in the same tri-suit.
Man, the clip-ins make it a huge difference too, right?
Yeah.
In terms of does it feel easier?
Oh, you mean when
like
biking?
when you're clipped in?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. If you're not clipped in, you're almost like you're losing. You're having to do more work.
It's one of the biggest speed gains you can get because like with the clips, you have like 360-degree control power.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not clipped in, then it's just like the downward motion. So they say like some of the best kind of cheap ways to gain speed on the bike is to get shoes to clip in. And get that optimal like bike position on the bike. So you don't want to you don't want to be reaching for the bars. You don't want to be too close.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too high or too low on the bike. Just getting that optimal fit can really help gain speed on the bike.
Yeah. So going through now, like looking back, like what were some of the kind of like injuries that you had to like work through? Now we know we talked about this last time in the last podcast, but like some of the injuries that you were like, oh crap.
One of them that really stood out is when I first got into like doing more longer distance running, like half marathons and triathlon, and I switched my running form because I was like, well, my foot strike rather.
Okay.
I was like a heel striker, and I was looking up all these Kenyans, and they're all it's like midfoot.
That's a natural transition.
Exactly.
That's a
like
natural transition.
4-foot strikers, and there's like the midfoot strikers. So on a dime, I switched my foot strike to like midfoot. Yep. Went for like a 3-mile run. And then I really...
It's different demands. Yeah. It's different demands out of your legs.
It's like everything you could do wrong. Like you make a change, drastic
like that,
change.
Hurts.
And I did not ease into it.
Yeah, your body's
I
what?
went straight to 3-mile run because like that's an easy run. Yeah, I got injured from that. That's one that definitely stuck out.
I've done the same thing. When the Vibrams shoes first came out, I remember I was still in clinicals out down in Naples. So really flat roads and sidewalks. I wore the Vibrams. And I went on them. I didn't transition, anything like that. And then what's weird is like when I would look underneath the Vibrams, I still saw the heel part wearing down. And I'm like, what the hell? These are not cheap shoes. Oh. They were hard to get at the time. Yeah. And I'm about to wear down the heel already. That doesn't make sense. You would think naturally without the foot cushion. But you're right. And then like I hurt myself. Like I was like, the body was like, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, okay, so that was just more like a form thing.
Yeah, it was a form thing.
Yeah, so are you a 4-foot striker now?
I do midfoot.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Midfoot.
I think that's a good like workaround, and I think even for me while still running, eventually maybe I'll get to 4 foot, but I think midfoot is perfectly fine. As long as you're out of the heel strike business, you're good.
Get that nice center of gravity, landing on the center of gravity.
Yeah. And so like, have you looked into like step frequency at all?
Yeah, isn't like what they say like 90, like cadence.
Yes.
Cadence?
Yeah.
Was it like 90 per minute?
90 per minute for each leg, so times 2. Yeah. So you're looking at like 170 to 180 steps per minute.
Yeah.
So you're right. So like, it's funny. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but like instead of thinking of 180 steps, like either a metronome 180, 180 would like drive you insane. Right? Yeah. But all you have to do, exactly. All you have to do is take a metronome, set it to maybe 90. That's exactly 180 times 2. So then for every beep, it's just 1 foot.
Yeah.
Instead of 2. So if you're listening out there and you want to increase your cadence, set it to 80, 90 beats per minute.
Yep.
And then for every beat, put your foot down.
Foot down.
Yeah. That's been helpful in telling some of my clients. So do you use that at all, like a metronome? Or?
Well, actually, my watch keeps track of like steps per minute and cadence.
Nice.
I'm usually about like 80, around 80.
Okay.
Which definitely there's opportunity there too to pick up the cadence.
Okay.
But yeah, that's definitely a good indicator of like how your run efficiency.
Got it. So are you racing at all, or do you have an upcoming race at all?
I did the Miami Half Marathon in January.
Okay. How was it?
It was good. It wasn't my strongest. I really like to run in January because it's a good goal to have during the holidays.
True.
Like
keep
holidays,
you going. Yeah.
Sweets and cookies and.
Yep.
I didn't train as much as I wanted to, but knocked it out in I think 2:04.
Nice.
Which I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that wait? So what's your PR half marathon? Mind me asking.
150.
Nice.
0.20 or something.
Nice.
I was so mad I didn't get sub 150 that race because like I had to use a bathroom right when because you're like
you gotta go hardcore. You need to just piss in your pants.
That's right.
You need to just go.
I gotta practice.
You just gotta
because you're in the corrals for like 30 minutes.
I know. I hate it. And so the race that I'm running, the Gate River Run. So my brother put in a slower pace, and I put like a 10-minute pace. And so he's farther back based on our bib number. Yeah. So I was like, crap, well, I guess I'll wait with you. But you're right. Like, because I remember when we ran the full marathon in LA, me and my brothers, we were in that corral for a while.
Yeah.
Even when I was like, okay, we kind of got to hurry up. And then you're like still there.
Yeah.
And you're like, crap, like I'm about to pee. Like, and then you go run and pee, and you go back again, and you're still haven't gone.
Exactly.
That's what's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should just pee in your pants, man. Just do it.
All right. I've actually heard.
I've never been.
There's like active articles, like active.com. Like during triathlons, there's like, half iron bikes are like 56 miles. The full Ironman bike is like 112 miles. Some of them actually pee while on the bike.
Sick.
They're like
nasty
do it on
sick.
a downhill.
Not a good sick. Like, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Do it on a downhill.
Yeah. Like, let gravity, help.
That does not make the commercial. That does not make the ads. Is that really what they do?
I mean,
I guess so. That would make sense.
There's an article on Active, so
damn.
I assume that it's a thing.
Gross.
I've yet to. Well, I mean, I don't even know if I'll do that, but that is pretty gross.
Okay. See, like having to go number 1 makes sense. Do you have strategies in terms of not going number 2 for triathlon races?
That for me, okay. So that
you would have to go night before, morning of.
That's the thing. It's like whether it's triathlon or running race, you have to condition your body to be prepared for race day schedule.
True.
Right. So So for me, like triathlons are 7:30. Usually 7:30. So in the Saturdays leading up to it, or even the week leading up to it, I would, wake up early and eat what I would eat on race day, so that my digestive system would be ready for that.
Yeah.
Usually I can empty everything out by 6:30, ready for the race. The issue was when we did the Disney marathon, that was a 5:30 start.
Oh,
5:30 done.
Changed it up a bit. So I like come race morning, we woke up at 2:30. We were there by like 4. Corrals at 4:30. We waited an hour. My digestive system wasn't ready. Yeah.
So like I'll be honest, like I had to go number 2 during the entire marathon. Like I don't want to.
So you waited till the end, or you're just like, crap, I gotta go.
I don't want to make an excuse for how I ran. But I think
that's a fair excuse, though. That's a fair excuse.
a couple miles in, I went into a porta potty.
Okay.
I went in and I was so disgusted with what I saw. I could not do it. So I was
Not only is the smell, because
man.
we've raced a bunch of races. Like I don't know what it is about runners. We run so long, we sweat so long, we don't care about smells anymore. To a normal person who doesn't run or go to races, it would disgust them.
Yeah.
And our threshold of what's acceptable as runners is so terribly low.
And I've been in some pretty bad bathrooms
It's
too.
terrible. So you go in there and you're like, no.
It was just.
So then you had to hold it.
I'd rather hold it through the whole race than attempt.
You don't want to hover? You don't want to do a hover?
Oh, no, man. No.
I like how our podcast has gone. This podcast episode has gone downhill very quickly, which is fine. I love it.
This is it.
This is what the listeners want to hear about.
This is being real.
This is real runner triathlon problems.
Yeah.
So if you're not a triathlete or a runner, this is the stuff we have to go through.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you held it.
I held it, and the feeling
you
it
did
went
it
away.
again.
I mean, the feeling was kind of there, but it went away.
Mm-hmm.
I felt good for the first 18 miles, and like I heard about the wall.
Wall is real.
And the wall is real.
Wall is so real.
I was like 18 miles. I was like, all right.
You're like, yeah, I'm good.
This is awesome. This is a marathon.
Did it hit you like? Did you hit it like hard, or were you just like, oh, what's happening?
It was gradual from 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, I'm starting to get tired. The last 10K, my pace dropped by like a minute.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, this is very, very hard. Like, I'm really tired right now.
Have you ever felt the wall while training? Like, did you ever get to like a 20 miler before a race?
That's another problem.
Oh, you never did? You didn't do a 20 miler?
I was behind in training for the marathon too. The longest distance I did was 14 miles.
Okay. So you're in uncharted territory.
I was in uncharted territory.
Yeah,
My problem before the race was I had time to do, well, it was approaching the race because, there's like that taper period, which is like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. Mm-hmm. I was already approaching that taper period. It was either, can I push it, go to 16, 18 miles for a training run, potentially, I don't know, get injured or mess up my I don't know, get injured. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or just stay back, go for shorter distance runs and then be healthy and be ready for the race. So I chose the latter.
That makes sense. Yeah, I debate with myself. Like, obviously, when my only first full marathon, I got hurt. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get to touch a 20 either. So I did more high-intensity runs, just keep myself there.
Yeah.
And then knowing that I was injured, I had to really kind of keep that rehab. My quad tendon had tendonitis, and I was like, crap, well, that's not going to heal right away. So it's like a managing standpoint. So, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, so if you don't have a 20, then that would make sense when you hit the wall.
Yeah, but then the con was I was in uncharted territory, and I hit the wall. And I was like, wow, this is the wall.
Yes.
But
have you ever had hit the wall like since then? Have you been there again before?
I have not. I haven't done a marathon since that marathon, which was, I don't know, 3 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It takes a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, I feel like being the overachiever in me, I've always had some sort of race, right? Mm-hmm. And so it kind of gives you something to do in a way, like outside of our normal day-to-day job. So then like when you're thinking about a marathon, you're just like, that takes up almost like 6 months of training, right? Yeah. And it's a lot of training. It's a lot of hours out of the house. Yep. And then assuming where you are in life, like I was not married to my wife yet, but we were still, all that. But she didn't see me very often. And now that I'm married, to think that I'm going to now go to work and then go out on the road, or maybe go out in the morning. Even then, like it's just, you're right. It just encompasses so much out of your life. And so you have to kind of really think, is this what I want to do for the next 6 months?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the reason why I haven't done a half Ironman since 2016. I did 2 half Ironmans in 2016. I was living in Tampa by myself for like my first job out of college. Yeah. And my commute was like 10 minutes to work. Nice. I just had so much time.
You had so much time.
Right? Now here, I live in South Florida with my family. Sundays are spent with the family. My commute now is 2 hours.
Damn, really?
Yeah, from Fort Lauderdale to Boca.
It's 2 hours?
2 hours round trip. I take the train now to save gas.
Oh, okay,
So
nice. Yeah,
about 2 hours if you consider driving to the station, taking the train,
yeah.
walking to work. It's less stressful,
Okay, yeah.
but it still takes a lot of time.
Well, I need to make more
know.
podcasts so I could help you out with your
Please, I need more content to listen to.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, just like you said, a lot of other things are happening now,
Mm-hmm.
which is at like a different time of life, maybe in a different location. So a lot of it is like, do you have the time for it or not?
Yeah. Yeah, so I know if I wanted to do a race, I'd have to like check it with my wife. What am I have planned in the next 6 months? Because like it's funny. Like I'll work with clients and then they're like, "Oh, I'm training, but I have to do this." And I don't know if they thought about that ahead of time or no. Because I know for me, if I were me, I'm pretty competitive. So if I'm gonna run, I want to run for like a specific time.
Yeah.
Like I'd want to make sure there's nothing that's gonna interrupt my training. Like
Yeah.
no vacation, nothing
No
that'll
weddings.
like. Well, yeah.
No weddings.
No
or
weddings.
Birthday
No
parties.
Exactly. Yeah, we're in that part of our life where weddings are for the most part like predominantly our main thing outside of our own personal travel. But you're right. Like it's like I want to do this, and I would want like uninterrupted 6 months of full training, so then I have a successful run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it consumes a lot.
Yeah, it's like respect to those out there who have families and kids and full-time jobs who still manage to like pump out these like marathons and triathlons,
Yeah,
It's like respect.
yeah. I think it's like we have done a lot in like our younger years.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, and this is not an offense to those that do it a lot more as they get older. Maybe it's because they haven't had that high.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't know what to experience.
Right.
Like finishing a long endurance race, and so now they want to do it, and they do it later in life, and now they're hooked.
Right. Yeah.
So you and I are kind of like, yeah, we've been there. We're good, but we know we could pick it up if we wanted to.
Right.
But just right now, we're like, eh.
Yeah.
I've thought about like if I got back into marathon running, and then that bored me. Ultra marathon running. Have you heard of that?
I'm in the middle of
seen
Born
that?
to Run right now. The book.
Yeah, that's a great run. That's a great book. I mean, that's a great book,
So I'm just getting so inspired by that.
right?
Yeah.
Ultra marathon.
just
run.
wanna run
Is it ultra running?
Yeah, ultra running. They talk about the Tarahumara Indians
Yes.
who run hundreds of miles on this thin slip of rubber.
Yeah. Yeah. It's inspiring. Or how they did persistence hunting. That's in the book, right? I haven't read the book in like forever.
If it is, I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay,
no, don't spoil it.
Okay. Can I spoil it? It's a
fine. Go
great
ahead.
concept.
I'm almost done.
Well, the concept was that how hunting these big animals that were much stronger than we are made no sense. Like you would sustain injuries that, there's no hospitals back in the day. You would die pretty much if you tried to go up to an animal like straight up. So the persistence hunting idea is you run after this animal and you just keep running.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, unlike animals, we have that drive that like I need this to eat, and I have the endurance to like keep running after you. So the thought is in persistence hunting, you run after the animal and it's just like crap, you're still around, and then it just tires out, and then you go for the kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So that would be my go-to, assuming there's no more guns or if we go to apocalyptic world. That'll
Just
be
tire out the zombies.
yeah.
Just keep running.
Yeah, just keep running. They'll be like, nah, I can't go. Yeah. So that's in the book. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, ultra. I would love to do an ultra one day too.
Yeah, but the thing is too is also when I was in Washington, another thing that's so funny to me how like road running gets boring is like people that love to trail run. You've seen those?
Yeah.
They're like, why would I ever go on the road anymore?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I can't empathize with trail runners because I've been running in South Florida, Miami, but
you got it easy. You have it all flat.
it is. But
you need to
then
take a run out here in Atlanta.
I do.
We should have ran together.
Even in Atlanta, right? As close as
gosh.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to just run in like a forest or a mountain out west. You must have been really lucky to.
I did a few. I did a lot of like urban parks. I didn't venture out by myself to like the more remote areas when I lived in Seattle. But the times that I did run on the trails, it's different because your attention span is very hyper focused on like the immediate 1-2 feet in front of you, right? Because in road running you take for granted like this is a flat road, I'm good, right? But when trail running, if you aren't paying attention, you will trip on your ass. Like you will fall, you will miss that piece of route, and you'll trip, and it's like game over.
Yeah.
And then you're like by yourself, and now you're bleeding, and now you're like, oh my gosh, someone go get me, right? So it was fun, and so it's like I feel like you don't you don't run as confidently. You run, I think, maybe more gingerly.
Yeah.
And so I felt like for me, like you felt a little more fresh because you're not like just killing yourself. Like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna go get this pace. You have to like kind of run gingerly. You got to make some turns. You got to make some cuts, things like that. So it's fun. I think it's interesting. For those that do it a lot more, shout outs to you guys. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get into that more, especially because I hear that you can really get lost or taken to a place like mentally, especially being with nature, trees and like, you know, just greenery rather than pavement.
Yeah, that's another part, right? Like when you do marathon training, you know, you keep doing that same route, and I think after like 2 months after that, you're like, I'm sick of this route, and then you do other changes, but ultimately it's still the same road. Do you run with music at all?
Sometimes.
Nice.
Sometimes I can do it without music. Like I can do like 10 milers.
That's where it's at.
Without it.
Totally agree.
And I do like running naked, so to speak, sometimes.
Yes.
Like no phone.
Yes. Well, I don't know about no phone.
No watch.
No phone?
Yeah, no phone, no watch.
I mean,
I'm not going on 10, 15 milers. These are like 5Ks or...
Okay. Short 3 mile, 5 mile. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus it's like, you know, I'm not in the forest or anything. I'm on Biscayne Boulevard.
Yeah. You got a McDonald's right there. You're good.
So I do like to do that to disconnect sometimes, but
yes,
it is nice to have music or a podcast going.
Yeah, I think for the runners out there that get it, you understand, like, there's nothing better than running with no music. And it's just kind of like you talk about, like, you're taken to a place where it's just like your brain could really kind of disconnect. I was just doing a research I'll be talking at the self-care event with a good kind of cool partnership here in Atlanta, so self-care, and I was just brushing up on the research in terms of mindfulness and meditation and how that really helps with either pain, stress management, things like that. I think running without music, if you're comfortable with it, if you could run with music and still be in that meditated or mindful state, I love it. But yeah, once I figured out that I could run without music, running has definitely been more therapeutic. And I know for the beginner runners that are listening to this, they're probably like, I would never. Fine, that's perfectly fine, right? Run with music because you need something to kind of push you through.
Definitely.
But one day, and it may not be next week, it may not be 2 years from now, but one day, right, you're gonna get to that point where it's like, I don't need music anymore.
Right.
Did you have like a kind of switch off point? Because I had a switch off point where I'm like, I don't need this music anymore. I
think my switch off point was my Bluetooth headphones ran out of battery.
Okay.
So it's like I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, no music today. And then I was like, all right, well, this isn't too bad. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, your mind just, it goes away. Like, for me, it's either I think of things, like, sometimes I think of races, like I'm in a race right now. Sometimes I just think of nothing.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's always just like that time to yourself. Really, after that run, you feel so good.
Yeah. I think my switch off point was my first half marathon in Gainesville. Leading up to it, do you remember the iPod Nano?
Yeah.
The clip? Yeah, the square one.
Yeah.
So I would run with that. That was my training aid. I would run with that like for 3 months. And I actually had like the same music because we didn't have streaming back then. Right?
You gotta load
you gotta load the playlist.
X amount of songs depending on how many gigs.
Yeah, the younger kids don't know about that problem, right? So I had that, and then about like 3/4 through the race, it got to the point where the music was just pure noise.
Oh, really?
And I literally took off my headphones, and I knew they were cheap. I did that on purpose, and I just ripped it. I almost ripped off the iPod, but I ripped off my headphones and I threw them down on the ground, and I just kept running.
Wow.
Because it got to the point where it's like, you're distracting me now. I can't.
Wow. Cool.
I can't focus, and I think ever since then I don't need music.
Awesome.
Even when I do run with music, it almost sounds like it's like noise. It's like I kind of need it, but this is just more distracting than anything.
I can imagine some people out there like, this sounds crazy.
This is awful. I'm turning off this podcast right now. This is the worst advice.
I totally get it though.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, what about when you go cycling? Do you have music on?
No, definitely not.
That would be like a safety thing.
It would be safe. A lot of people though, they have their like Bluetooth, connected, but yeah, you definitely safety one, and two, it's for me, the same mentality translates to cycling. I can just tune out everything and just bike.
Okay. Nice.
It's so nice. Yeah.
Swimming? Do you have music on?
No.
I've heard people have like
People do. It's a
I
thing.
don't- yeah.
They attach it to like the swim cap,
uh-huh.
and it's
Oh,
waterproof.
and then it's waterproof. Got it.
And plus, your head kind of like generally doesn't really go in the water,
True.
or at least the top,
True.
unless you like flip turn. But definitely no. Swimming is that's another like mental clarity, and you just get taken away in another sense. One guy put it really well, like how he loves swimming so much, especially if you're like in the open water. It's kind of like, because sometimes in waters are like murky and stuff. It's like you're flying in space.
I would agree. So for those of you guys that went to UF, so O'Connell Center, right? So I don't know what pool you swam in. But
Yeah.
Did you ever swim in the pool where they did all the diving?
So
Like the
sometimes
super deep one.
sometimes they would open up that whole 50 meter. I think it's 50 meter.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would swim to one end, and then it's like
Mad deep, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I would totally agree, because when it's clear and when you have your goggles on and you're swimming, it really does feel like you're flying. Like the shallow parts does not.
Yeah.
And I'm a terrible swimmer. I'm a very weak swimmer. So I remember my friend at the time. You remember Josh Vasquez? So
Yeah.
So he was like, let's go to the deep one. I kind of get freaked out because in the shallow part, at the very least, I could put my foot down and rest. So when I swam over the deeper parts, it really made me focus in on the swim. And I realized I could just float. It doesn't matter. But you could really feel like you're flying.
And plus, like the bubbles, like kind of, he said the bubbles make it look like stars.
Oh,
In the skies,
yeah.
It's nice.
Doesn't happen in murky water, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes if like the bubbles have their own effect in that murky water.
So tell me this. So swimming open water, you mentioned a good point. When I wanted to become a triathlete and try it, I had a PT classmate, and she was like, "Oh yeah, when you do open water, people will just swim around you and punch you and kick you." And I was like, oh, "Okay, forget that. I don't want to do that." Did
Sure.
that happen to you?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, because at the start, everyone it's just
that.
just like a mad dash.
Yeah.
So for beginners, you definitely stay at the back of the pack.
Okay.
Let everyone go first and then trail. But if you're in the middle, you're gonna get slapped in the face. Some person you get swam over. I've gotten someone
swam over.
someone just like went on top of me.
That's like the most disrespectful thing.
Hand in the face.
That's so disrespectful.
Make sure your goggles are tucked into your swim cap.
Yeah.
is a good tip. Salt water in the goggle.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
all
I feel
happens.
like being swam over is like the sports equivalent to like the iconic like Allen Iverson step over.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's what I feel like
He's
that
just
is. But you're saying it just happens often, that it's whatever.
If you're in the middle, it'll happen.
Like you deserve to get swam over. You're so slow.
I don't know if they're thinking that. Maybe. I think a lot of it's like people are not even
They don't
paying.
realize.
Because sometimes people are just swimming and you're looking like side to side.
Okay.
What you're supposed to do is sight, like pick up your head,
Okay.
look above, come down, so you can gauge where you're gonna go. But in the beginning, people are just swimming, looking side to side, so sometimes you might miss someone in front of you.
Got it.
So it happens.
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever swam over someone?
No, I've definitely
You're
like
too nice for it.
Excuse me.
Even in a running, when you're in a crowded corral, I'm not like cutting people off. Like but I'm not like cutting. But
We're
like
courteous
swimming,
about Yeah, I definitely like sometimes when you're swimming next to a person and you kind of want to take the edge. You swim close, maybe a little like in basketball,
true.
a little arm action.
Okay.
That's the most that I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be weirded out if I swam and then like I felt a body part. I'd be like, oh, gross. Yeah. Yeah. That'd
It's
be
jellyfish has happened once too. That's
really
yeah. I got stung a few times.
mid race.
Mid race, Ironman, Miami, Biscayne Bay.
So what did you do? Did you just stop, or you just like
So before the
Or
race,
did you even know it was a jellyfish?
well, before the race started, they said, "All right, there's a big announcer. Like, there are jellyfish in the water. If you choose to go to the last corral of swimmers, we'll have a boat accompany you, like to kind of avoid them or something like that." But I was
Okay.
like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was swimming in it, and I'd feel like a. Even I would reach out, and I'd feel something like cold.
So you were like
And then I
in
would
it.
go like this.
Oh.
And it was like jelly. So I was a huge like mental thing.
Yeah.
I started freaking out.
Yeah,
Like no,
I bet.
I here.
I bet. Yeah.
I had to hang on to a paddleboard, and I was like, oh, I'm getting stung. And he's like, oh, it's just the moon jellies. They're harmless. And then it was like there was like maybe 800 meters left. And he was like, it's you can understand this as a runner when someone says like "good job" to you or "let's go," and when you're on the course, like that means so much.
It does. It really does.
He was like, "Hey, you got this."
Wait, now who's this person talking to you?
So in a triathlon, you're not there all by yourself.
Okay.
There's safety paddle boards, jet skis, lifeguards.
Okay.
For safety reasons.
Got it. That
So
makes
he was
sense.
just one of those safety people.
Got it. I'm imagining like spectators in a boat.
He just said, "Hey, you got this. You're almost there.
Yeah.
That's it." And I was like, I just got, let's go. So there was a swimmer going by. I was like, all right, I'm going to draft off this swimmer because you can draft.
True.
It's another technique to go faster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Drafted off him for like 5 seconds. He was really fast. He left me. And then I was by myself once again. But
So then, did you get medical treatment after?
they had they had crew when you got out with vinegar.
Okay.
Bottles of vinegar, and
Yeah.
they were spraying every athlete that came out.
Oh.
So they're like, "Do you need it?" I'm like, "Yes." So they sprayed vinegar all over my stings, so that it would heal on the bike.
So you kept going.
Yeah, I had to do the 56-mile bike ride and the half marathon.
Yo.
So that was just another like testament to, man, you gotta have like serious mental strength because
True.
you don't account for that in training.
Yeah,
like-
but did you had an idea that there may have been jellyfish or no? Like you found out that day.
I found out that morning.
Damn. Yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, that would make sense.
And
You're not
it's
gonna
like-
stop. You've been months in training. You're not gonna
Yeah,
stop over.
and it's like, all right, well, everyone's doing it, so
Yeah, that's true.
I'll do it too.
Wait, okay, but did you have like a full wetsuit or like what kind of?
So wetsuits are only allowed 70 degrees and below temperature. In the
Okay,
water.
okay, got it,
It was not wetsuit legal,
got it.
so no wetsuit. Yeah.
Got it. I remember, if I remember following on your social media, you've done the Alcatraz
Yeah, favorite race by
Triathlon.
far.
favorite race. Why is that?
Just the notoriety of the island,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the most highly sought out triathlons in triathlon racing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lottery to get in; only 2,000 can do it.
Okay.
So I randomly put my name in, and I got chosen. And like, I mean, you get dropped off, kind of right off Alcatraz Island. You have to swim 1.5 miles
Yeah.
to land, and the currents are like really, really strong, pushing you towards like the Golden Gate Bridge. So you have to like angle the swim because if you go point to point,
Yeah, you're gonna have
you're gonna
drifted off.
So you have to
Yeah.
account for the
Yeah.
current.
Yeah.
All those things. It's really cold. Like it was like 55 degrees. Super popular race.
Mhm.
Amazing because you just have the Golden Gate Bridge there, Alcatraz, San Francisco.
What part of when of the year is this?
June.
June.
So
it's still cold, but it's
Oh, yeah.
not. Yeah.
it's not like February.
No.
It's usually about 55 degrees water.
Okay.
Race day though, it was like 59, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Still cold,
Very cold.
but
Well, how cold was the water?
59 degrees.
59.
But I swam the bay a few days before that, and it was about 55.
You got to swim in the water before?
Yeah, they actually have, it's called Aquatic Park,
Okay.
kind of a sectioned off part of the bay where a lot of people just swim.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been there before, but I don't think I've ever seen like nearby
It's
the water.
near like the Ghirardelli chocolate factory.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there. Have you did the like a bike ride across Golden Gate? Did
Yeah.
you get to like do the touristy stuff?
Yeah, I've
Go
been
to
there a few
Sausalito
times.
and
Yep.
then, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got family over there, so.
Oh, do you? Nice. So
Yeah.
that works
Shout out to the family. They helped me get to the race at
Very
2:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh! And then what'd you eat afterwards? I would assume after a triathlon, what is your go-to? Like, I need to eat this or I will die.
Beer.
Beer. Makes sense.
Yeah, beer.
Beer. Favorite beer?
Weihenstephaner Hefeweißbier.
Ooh, that's very specific. I
German
like it.
wheat beer.
Yeah.
We went there actually in October.
Okay.
To the
I did see
brewery.
that. Yeah. How did that feel to like be there with your favorite beer?
I almost shed a tear.
Just a shit. Dude.
Drinking my favorite beer from the source.
Straight from the source.
Mhm. Yeah.
Got it.
Mm.
So anything else? Just beer? Straight up? Right after
I
race?
mean, after the race, they'll have like sandwiches or fruit. So I'll
Okay.
eat that. But just what? I mean, I'm not too picky on food.
For our non-triathlete / runner listeners,
Mhm.
how sore are you after a race?
Very sore. Usually some blisters. Quads, just legs are just, everything is tight.
Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very sore.
So do you take a few days off from work or you're like, you go to work?
My recovery is compression wear.
Okay.
So I'll
nice.
wear like compression socks or compression calf sleeves like all day long for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to work the next day after the half Ironman,
Oh.
limping around.
Yeah.
But I'll recover by like the Wednesday after the race.
Nice.
Yeah.
As you've been doing more triathlons, do you feel like with age you're recovering differently, or it feels about the same so far?
I think I'm still recovering about the same.
Good.
My performance isn't as good as a few years ago.
Yeah.
I've gained weight,
Okay.
so I'm not as fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a matter of training more and eating right.
Yeah.
Being more disciplined.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference I see in my performance from now and a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any tips for me? If I were to go back into triathlon racing, I'm going to check it with my wife and be like, I'm going to do this. Top tips for me. From Jeremy Try.
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Wow, okay. Well, I already know you're super disciplined. I mean, you know how to train. I
Check
mean,
with Daisy. She may tell you otherwise.
Well, for you, I mean, I would say focus on swimming first because that
True.
you mentioned that's your weakness.
Yeah,
like I mentioned earlier, get that pull buoy, practice your upper body, kickboard, lower body, bring them together, and I mean, do a sprint or a super sprint, which is not that much.
What's a
amount of-
super sprint? I was going to train for a sprint, but the super sprint is just even shorter than that.
So UF, the University of Florida, has a super sprint actually coming up next month.
Okay.
It's a 200-yard swim, so like 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, that's not bad.
A 5-mile bike ride on campus, and a
bad.
1-mile run.
Oh, 1 mile run?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's a good time for that?
I don't know. I forgot how much time I did it in, but I mean, you can gauge how
That's the
fast
kind of
you want to run.
that's the kind of person I am. Like anytime someone's like, "Let's do this race," I'm like, "Okay, cool. What's considered a good time?" Because there's no question that I'm not going to finish. I'm going to finish.
Yeah.
I want to know like how fast can I do it?
Well, do your mile and like your however fast you want to do it.
Yeah.
But just get started and train for that race that's like very, very attainable for you.
True.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up. There is an Atlanta triathlon club here. So if you're a listener, shout out to you guys. I know they're out here. Is there clubs like that down where you live?
Yeah, there's plenty of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually not. I don't join any because I'm like, I have no problem in doing things solo.
True.
On
Yeah.
my own time.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing against it. Training with people is great.
Yeah.
It'll make you better. But just with my schedule and especially putting out a lot of content, kind of doing training on an ad hoc basis works for me.
Yeah. How is the content going? You liking it so far?
Yeah, I love it.
Still like doing it?
It's been a year since I started like the podcast and like vlogging. Been consistent at some points, very inconsistent at other points, but just trying to be better at putting out things consistently this year.
Getting good feedback? From the beginner
every now and then,
triathletes and all
every
that.
now
Like,
and then.
yo, this is good stuff.
It's out there. It's more of like friends.
Yeah, no, that's how it all starts. Probably the only people listening right there right now is like my dad,
Yeah,
my mom, maybe.
good feedback from friends. Some brands are actually starting to reach out, which
There
is
you
pretty
go.
cool.
Yeah.
Through Instagram.
That's where it's at.
But yeah, I mean, I've got like on one of my podcasts, there was one like mother who reached out and was like, "Hey, I really enjoyed your podcast about whether to buy a bike for a triathlon or not.
Oh,
My son and I are doing a triathlon
Nice.
this April." And I was like, that one
That feels
comment,
good, doesn't it?
That's all you need.
That's all you really need.
Like
yeah.
after 1 year, getting that's like, hey, that's enough. Like
Yeah.
to keep going.
Last year, because I didn't get to produce as much content, right? So there was like this hiatus, and then I've been back. But then like with catching up with friends, because like you said, friends are who's really watching us in our early years right now. But like you'll get comments from my friends or family. They're like, "Where have you been? Like I really loved your stuff."
Yeah.
So like they're watching, you just don't know because they have a like, or maybe they just don't even like it.
A lot of people
Like,
don't even comment. I feel like people should comment more.
I feel like
than-
they should, but I think because I don't know what's happening, but like they feel like watching it was enough for them. Because ultimately, I think it is for them.
Yeah.
But then you're right. Like when you get a commenter, then it's like it's awesome. Like so, one of my videos, it's a dragon boat video. That dragon boat video has been getting a ton of views, way more. Like it's exceeded my expectations because it was like a guide. Yeah, you just never know. You just got to keep it up.
Yeah.
We talked about that before in terms of just putting out content, valuable content out there.
They'll come if it's something we're passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, they'll come.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I want to do this as like a new thing for every guest, and I hope to have more guests. So if you're interested in being a guest, shout out to you. Let me know. So my thing for all my guests, I want to know, and I want you to share with the viewers, what is your endeavor? So I named my practice Endeavor Health, and the reason why I named it Endeavor Health and not physical therapy or Balmes, it's not about me. It's always about my client, and the endeavor was meant to, as an homage to all my clients, quote unquote endeavor, because when I have a client here, they're hurt or they want to get better at something, they're not doing just so that they could get perfect range of motion. You know what I mean? They're doing it because I want to do this race when I'm 50, or I want to be able to run with my grandson. You know,
Right.
There's like a higher purpose in endeavor, right? So I meant on purpose to have that such a heavy weighted term, right?
Deep.
I like to try to be deep. Thank you. Appreciate it. So that's what Endeavor Health means. So, Jeremy, what is your endeavor?
Like with triathlon or like life?
Could be anything.
This is super deep, Brian.
You want to do it both? You want to do it for triathlons? Sure. If you want to do it for life,
Okay.
let's go there. You're the first guest to be asked
I'm
this
honored.
question. Yes.
I'm honored.
I'm
Okay.
glad it's you.
Thank you, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ryan. All right. So I'd say my endeavor for my triathlon endeavors would be, I really like, you mentioned this in one of your previous podcasts, was you're doing like strength conditioning for the 70-year-old Ryan,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
How would
that is mine.
Yeah. So I would surely relate to that in that sense. I do triathlon now so that I could be as healthy and as happy for as long as I can,
Yeah.
to be able to experience as much as I can in life. And it also pushes me past my boundaries, gets me out of my comfort zone, like it makes me swim in 50-degree choppy waters and jellyfish infested waters.
Yeah. You learn about yourself from that.
You learn about so much about you learn that you like mentally, physically can do so much more than you're capable of. And for me, triathlon has given me that.
Nice.
So that would be my triathlon endeavor. My life endeavor, though,
Okay.
is to spend as much time as possible with my family, my loved ones, and my friends.
100%.
So
100%.
everything I do now, I'm trying to map to that goal. And
I love it.
I think triathlon plays into that pretty well. It gives me livelihood.
Yeah.
Makes me happy, and hopefully can inspire others out there too.
100%. I totally agree. You mentioned wanting to work out for 70-year-old Ryan.
Yeah.
That's me because, I want to live as long and as happy. I think that's what's really important. It's not about living longer. You could live longer and have shitty health, but you want to be healthy for it. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really
Thank
good,
you, Ryan.
That was a really good good answer for the first guest. So
That's awesome.
I really appreciate it. So Jeremy, if you have anything to plug, this is your time. I want you to kind of highlight things that you're working on. If there's something we need to look out for from your channel, just
Sure.
let our listeners know.
First of all, thank you again, Ryan, for having me. Really,
Thank you to our audience.
Yeah, thank you, audience, for watching and listening. Check out Ryan, first of all. Endeavor Health. He's a great guy, phenomenal guy who I've known for a while.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
As for me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Jeremy_try. On YouTube, Jeremy Try. My website is jeremytry.com. I do a lot of content, vlogging, triathlon tips and tricks.
Oh, real quick, how do you spell try? Because I know that could be confusing. maybe.
TRI.
TRI.
Yes,
Got it.
good point.
Yeah.
And I also do some travel videos in there too. Sprinkle that in there.
There you go.
So check it out if you're interested for triathlon tips for the beginner, or just interested in who I am as a person.
Jeremy, thank you so much. Make sure to check out Jeremy Try on his social media. I really am excited for his channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. For those that are wanting to learn how to do social media, learn from him, because and I think we could all learn from each other. But if you're an aspiring triathlete or you want some really cool content to watch as a triathlete, make sure you give him a follow. So, Jeremy, thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here.
Ryan. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.